So, hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar about marketplaces in 2026. I'm Adrian. I'm in charge of everything content at Lengo, and I will be moderating today's discussion. But before we go any further, I would like to briefly introduce the speakers we were able to bring together to this webinar, and I'm very glad about it because um, they're really true experts and leaders in their fields. So I'm really happy about that. Um, you can introduce yourself very quickly so the audience is aware of who you are. I don't know who wants to start.
You
Maybe,
go, Malte.
yeah.
Yeah, Germany first. That's obviously today the narrative. Yeah, I'm Malte, originating, yeah, as I said, from Germany, actually based elsewhere, no longer there. But I'm engaged with the e-commerce stuff for 30 years now. Pretty much interested today also in this, or leaning into this AI field because it makes a lot of sense, and that's the next thing to come. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to contribute today here as much as possible, and handing over to Laurence, who wanted to be second.
So thank you. Malte, you're going to be the old guy in the room. So I'm sorry. I've only been around e-commerce for 25 years. Um, yes, I've been around for quite a bit. Really excited to be here this morning. I'm also the founder of CEO of Retail for Brands. Pretty much says what we do. We optimize digital retail for brands.
Thank you. And Vincent?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Vincent. I'm working on partnership for Lengo. So I'm working with marketplace. I'm working with agency and software. I'm working in this area since 15 years ago now. So it's a pleasure to talk today about this kind of topic. So let's discuss.
To begin here, to start with you this webinar, I really want to have a kind of warm-up question. Let's start with a very like the hot topic at the moment, in my opinion. It's this one. So it feels like everyone is talking about right now. It's not directly a marketplace topic, but let's say almost. OpenAI, ChatGPT, apparently seems to be putting native checkout on hold for now in favor of discovery and advertising. So, I mean, what do you make of that? Is this good news for you? Bad news? Are you surprised? Not surprised? What's your feeling here?
I think everybody's surprised at one point or another, right? Which is, okay, they went all in 3 months ago, and now they're pulling back. So what does that mean? Actually means that commerce is not easy, right? And OpenAI is not going to be a retailer just like that, right? AI is not magic. It feels a lot like magic, right? It felt a lot like magic in November 2022, the first time that you prompted on ChatGPT. A couple of years back when we were the first, when you did your first images in the Ghibli style, it felt like magic. And a year ago, when you started to do your own dashboards on Float, it felt like magic, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to e-com and commerce in general, what do consumers look for when they look for a retailer? They look for three things. They look for availability in terms of product, they look for the best price, and they look for services, right?
Mm.
I think we're shortcutting when we say that, Amazon, for example, has become a search engine, and and ChatGPT is going to be the next search engine, right? And therefore, it's going to be the next retailer, right?
Mm.
And why at one point or another, and why did OpenAI scale back? They didn't stop; they just scaled back, right?
Yeah.
Which is when you're looking for something, you need to make sure that your product is available, and you need to make sure that it's correctly priced. If not, it's going to create massive customer dissatisfaction. And then the way the models work, they have a memory. And the first thing in which ChatGPT is going to look at, it's its memory. it's not going to look at real life data. And having the information in real time from third parties, and we're talking about retailers at this point, but we also need to look at travel agents, for example. For travel agents, you need to know which flights are available, what price they are at, if the seats are indeed business or premium or economy. And that's super complex, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they realize. It's not a question of just prompting and having the information. It's having the right information, right price and the right product.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was kind of funny, the news, because like 1 year ago, and the first image shows it, like everyone wanted to partner with ChatGPT, OpenAI, in e-commerce, retail. Here you have a few examples. But like it was like OpenAI is the messiah, and everyone wanted to be there. And now it's a bit different.
I mean, basically, for me, it's more or less part of an negotiation game, right? First of all, I would doubt that someone in, let's say, the OpenAI building is somewhat surprised, right? I mean, they're pretty much anticipating and knew, like all the barriers that are still unsolved. It reminds me a little bit of Tesla, right? Like running in, saying, tomorrow we will all have self-driving devices, and then they push back a little bit because there were legal topics that needed to be, and ethic and different topics that needed to be solved. But still, they started something, tested the waters, and then, I mean, basically they've been in a testing phase. There are many, and I mean, no one is surprised coming Monday in the office saying, whoa, we are missing something on the financial side. Oh, we are missing something on the legal side. So what's happening if the agentic is buying something and the customer is complaining it's not the right one or whatsoever, right? So there are a lot of legal and let's say ethic questions that need to be solved. I mean, they knew it, right? Still, from an investor perspective, they needed to scale a little bit more than, like realistic. Yeah. So, and now they're simply closing, folding the cards a little bit, saying, okay, we have everything, right? All the companies you are showing here on the left-hand side on the picture, I mean, that's still valid because we are talking about a research layer here, right? Still, I mean, showed this data recently in a keynote. 33% of the European customers said, like it's 1/3, right? Said they used in the last 6 months ChatGPT at least once for research, product research. So it's already existing in the research layer. Yeah, okay. The transaction layer is not yet there, but it's not really something like, I mean, as Laurence already said, there's a lot to discuss still, and there's a lot in between that needs to be solved first.
Yeah, for me it was like a bit wish thinking, like it's like with voice commerce at the time in 2017, like everyone wanted it to be something, and then at the end it was nothing. So it's a bit the same pattern here, but I think agentic commerce is way stronger than voice commerce at the time. But maybe Vincent, just your opinion, because for integrators, I think it's a good news because it's easier to integrate a new, let's say, advertising or discovery channel into a platform like Lengo, I would say, than a whole new native checkout system.
Yeah, exactly, and totally agree with your feedback, guys. Yeah, it was a huge breaking news to see that OpenAI will stop this project. It's not a final point. I think they will maybe come back. They will work on dark side to be prepared this kind of new operation, to be sure that this kind of project, it's huge. So maybe they will prepare something. So it's just freezing some to just waste time, to win time and see how they can propose something in the future. It's a real challenge for marketplace to position themselves in the shift toward agentic commerce and to be referenced by LLM, because it's a potential opportunity, it's a potential weakness. No one can say the right position now. It's complicated. So I think the e-commerce landscape of tomorrow could be significantly reshape market positions and reply to online shopping are multiple. You have Google, you have social networks, Amazon, you have direct access to brand websites and more. So for integrator, it's great to get some portals, some new possibility to avoid risk, to get only one sources. So it's really important for integrators, for the business, for e-commerce, to have some different options for consumers to discover your products.
AI shopping agents versus marketplaces, like what do we need to know here? I brought here one first statistic chart to start on this topic. The topic of AI shopping agents and marketplaces, I would say, is really complex because on the one hand, LLMs are driving traffic to marketplaces and apparently more than to brand websites, as this chart shows. And I'm coming back on this chart. And on the other hand, AI agents could become more or major competitors to marketplaces if they handle checkout themselves, as we just discussed. So this chart here makes a very clear point, in my opinion, because it shows that marketplace-enabled brands are outperforming brand website-only strategies across AI visibility. So this is one here is based on data from Miracle from end of last year, and also marketplaces hold the top AI position 27% more often here, basically. For me, I think the question the audience could ask here is why?
It depends what you put in marketplaces. I think it's a question of authority. And it's not going to be the same thing if you are L'Occitane on one end, or if you are Taylor and Sons preferred water cooler collection. What AI and agentic surfaces look for is authority. So when you're L'Occitane, you have authority. When you are Amazon, or when you're Cdiscount, or when you are, any Mano Mano, for example, you have a lot of authority for Amazon in a very wide environment, for Sephora in the beauty care, for Mano Mano in the DIY environment. And that is what is important, which is how relevant you are in that specific environment. And therefore, marketplaces are very authoritative pieces of information for two reasons. One, because they're bigger, and what they have done historically for SEO has helped them to grow that figure of authority. And the second is the way the information is stored as well. It's stored in a standardized way, and you find everything on the marketplace. Let's consider Fnac, for example, in the French market. You find everything that an agentic surface likes. You have technical specs, which are clearly defined. You have product description. You have questions and answers about the product. And we all know how agentic surfaces love question and answers, right? And also you have reviews, you have technical, you have reviews from consumers, you have technical review. So all those elements tend to favor those marketplaces, right? And I think, for brand websites only, it does say that brand websites are also important, right? And for a lot of brands that weren't selling direct, it means that their brand website needs to also have a bit more authority. But their first place of authority are going to be marketplaces directly.
Yeah, I think it's also a matter of availability and data quality, which is stronger often on marketplaces. Also, you have more sellers for one product, and so it's very hard that this product is out of stock. And AI does not like to recommend products which are not in stock, actually.
For me, it's raising even a bigger question in terms of metaphysical perspective on web shops and marketplaces as a whole. I mean, once again, we have that in question 4, right? But briefly, right? Briefly, simply saying, okay, we have 17% web shop revenue in Europe. So 1/7 only left. In China, it's 1%. Entire Asia, it's 1%. So there is a certain direction. Marketplaces are growing quicker. But that was all the time some sort of, like, let's say, a perspective of, deeper pockets, bigger players and something. And now we have the brilliant perspective of an objective player coming in that's called LLM. And that guy is saying, okay, I don't care too much about subjective factors. I'm caring about signals, right? And there are certain signals. That's delivery speed. That's how, let's say, trustful things are, right? I mean, Amazon is the most trusted brand in Europe. In Germany, sorry, I cannot say that for other countries, but in Germany at least. That gives a great example why also brands are fading a little bit, because Amazon is already the strong brand on the marketplace, right? But the AI does not care too much about human factors directly, but about signals that are deriving from it, right? So, and that's why we are seeing here basically why marketplaces are growing faster for a long time now. We are seeing here from an objective perspective, from a signal perspective, why things are like that today, and will develop further and even maybe faster when AI is contributing here going forward. That's maybe the bigger question or the bigger answer behind this graphic, right?
Yeah. And the message is everyone needs to sell on marketplaces right now, because when you are not doing, you're losing the AI visibility game. No, but everyone has another strategy. Yeah, this is one question, but on the other hand, there's the thing which is maybe less positive for marketplaces. It's that you have marketplaces as Amazon or eBay banning actually unauthorized agents from their marketplace website. And they are kind of afraid of this native checkout and agentic commerce thing. But why exactly? What's behind that?
I mean, at least what I wanted to add, first of all, to the question, I mean, it's not 100% true that they are blocking things in generally when it comes to AI, for example, or something. It is true that if you search today on ChatGPT for something like for a product, and ChatGPT is recommending something to you that is coming from Amazon, let's say Amazon products, even with links, then it's basically not coming from Amazon, because ChatGPT for that purpose is not let in, let's say, by the robots.txt, but it's coming from price comparison pages and other pages, affiliate pages and whatsoever. So ChatGPT is collecting Amazon stuff from all over the place, including then also links. Your traffic is then going into Amazon. That's true, because you're following the link if you click the item, right? I mean, as I said in the beginning, this is part of the actual negotiation going on, right? I mean, Amazon had the issue, like, if they would have let in the AI from scratch entirely, there is a huge threat that this AI is, let's say, scraping nearly everything. There were some data points saying the AI would need 14 days only to scrape everything data related Amazon has ever created since the beginning in its platform. So Amazon would lose everything, basically. I mean, that's your gold dust, right? I mean, that's what you have. It's your data, it's your legacy, it's all the, like, behavior, everything that's in your platform could have been gone. So they blocked. Makes totally sense, right? There is the Amazon advertising product API where the guys can come in still, right? So there's an API solution.
Yeah.
And as we all know, Amazon changed the game and started some charging for API usage that has not too much to do with the sellers or the providers. That's, of course, all designed for the future AI game, right? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. There are negotiations in place, actually, between all the big players in the room. And now it's defined, and Amazon has a bold position, but also a tricky position. So because they're saying, you can't come in. If you want, you have to pay for it. Some players like Perplexity said in the beginning, okay, then we simply skip the Amazon thing, right? And we're just showing everything but Amazon is in the Western world too dominant. No one can, like in US, for example, could imagine like, here are your favorite products regarding your prompt, and then every time is Amazon missing, makes no sense. So they have a great position, and that's what actually going on. That's actually what's going on, and that's defining the future, I think. So it's not about blocking something. There's different, of course, there are different perspectives, like Walmart and Etsy and Shopify and so on. They opened completely. They said, okay, at least a little bit of traffic. And Amazon said no. eBay said partially no, that's true. And so that is, for Amazon, it was a matter of survival. And it was not a decision in the first place. It was a matter of surviving, and that made totally sense. And now they are in a great position for negotiation.
Yeah, no, thank you for your perspective, Malte, because I think for a lot of people in the audience, it's not that clear because everyone is talking about banning, but it's not really like as you explained. So I think this is really, really interesting. I propose to move forward because we still have more topics to cover. The next one actually is about a ruling from Bundeskartellamt, which is Germany's federal competition authority. I will explain what it is exactly, this ruling. And we will ask a question like, what does it mean for Amazon specifically, but maybe as well for the hybrid marketplace model in Europe. So this chart here is really showing all the meaning of the decision of the Bundeskartellamt. In February this year, the Bundeskartellamt made a strong decision. It was like really explicit. If Amazon wants to lower prices, it should compete on fees and value and not on invisible algorithm penalties. So it directly challenges Amazon's ability basically to influence seller pricing beyond very limited exceptions. I mean, put it easy, it's like Germany and Europe are signaling that if a hybrid marketplace competes with sellers, it cannot also shape the price architecture of that competition. So I think it's a really important first decision here in Germany, but it's based on European rules, so it might also impact other countries. What exactly does it mean now for other hybrid marketplaces like the model operator plus a retailer?
I think public authorities must ensure that fiscal, social, and environmental rules are the same for everyone. That's I think the rules of public authorities. I think Germans, yeah, it's a great thing to see this kind of initiative from Germany, but I think it's really important for a global market, global European market, to get the same rules for everyone, because we will talk about Chinese marketplace. We will talk about potential sellers from outside Europe. So it's really important for public authorities to fix rules, the same rules for everyone. The key is to maintain the right balance. This is precisely where the complexity lies between protectionism, governance intervention, and the free market. So I think it's really important for political to be sure that the rules are the same for everyone. And second one, of course, that's the business, and it's marketplace platforms, merchants, sellers, retailers to make business, but with the same rules for everyone.
For marketplaces competing with their own sellers, they are right now under explicit scrutiny. So I think they need to be aware of it, and maybe already adapt their strategies.
I mean, Amazon will definitely appeal. So, and this will go on until highest court here BGH, Bundesgerichtshof in Germany, for sure, because it's a, let's say, a very centric thing. But the hybrid thing is the very interesting one. So because most of the stuff like this one, like all this DMA hassle the marketplaces had and so on, is coming from the perspective, what if someone is selling itself on its marketplace and let sellers in, like this hybrid thing, right? You have your 1P business and you allow a 3P business. So from my perspective, this includes a lot of friction from a regulatory perspective. So I would guess, heavy guessing, right, that going forward, several marketplaces are simply dropping this 1P thing. Yeah, in the Amazon environment, it's still too big with a third of the entire revenue and something. And a lot of huge brands that are leaning into 1P that would definitely not switch to 3P. Yeah, they would simply wave goodbye, and that's what Amazon cannot afford right now. So, but I'm pretty sure, all that headwind from the 1P thing, they would wish, right? They would have found a different solution from scratch somehow. Because that's what's going on here. I mean, in the Amazon world, if you talk to the Amazon guys, they're really in the position that they're thinking, okay, come on, we have to be competitive, a little bit in the direction what Vincent said. It's like all the time, right? Now we have a regulatory pressure here on the German side. It will definitely, if it's appealed and not successful from an Amazon perspective, will definitely play a role for all marketplaces in Europe. That makes sense. But still, that's then only Europe. Right, and we see then once again a disadvantage internationally for those marketplaces, let's say in an international environment. So it's a little bit tricky. And as I said, when I'm talking to Amazon, they're always saying, "Hey, come on, it's our buy box. I mean, we can define the rules, right? I mean, it's our platform. I mean, what would you do, Malte, if you would create a platform? Would you define the rules, or would you?" That's why it's a little bit. I have mixed feelings here, right? Because I fully understand that sellers feel, let's say, offended by those pricing things like high price error and all those suppressions and something. But on the long run, Amazon is doing it to provide the best prices for the customers, right? That's basically the idea behind this. And I can't listen too much to sellers, like crying all the time regarding regulatory things that are definitely, like bringing things in perspective. So that's why I have mixed feelings, as you can hear. And I would say what's best for the customer should be the perspective, definitely. And in Germany, hard to say how it is in other countries, but in Germany, it's pretty much clear, meanwhile, that customers on the street are saying, okay, I'm buying on Amazon because I will find the best price. That's kind of clear, right? And that's definitely a little bit in limbo looking at this decision here, right?
No, I agree. I mean, it's a complex topic, and I mean, we will follow this closely, but as you said, it might take a lot of time. I think which is important here because I see the number here that Amazon's German market share, it's really high. It's could say around, it's a bit guessing as well, but around 60%, which is really, really high. So you understand that a lot of e-commerce in Germany is happening on Amazon, and this is like crucial. Way more as in other European countries, for example, as in France.
Does anybody here remember the double buy box from Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to have been in the business for the past 5 years, right? How much of an impact has it had actually? So made my life miserable for 3 months because all my clients wanted to have an answer around double buy box. So we tracked it on a few clients. We saw zero impact in terms of revenue. Amazon is really good at finding loopholes in any kind of decision. Because at the end of the day, as Malte said, they have the consumer's best interests at heart, one way or the other. Like it or not, they want the best product at the best price. The question is, do they still have the best product at the best price, and do Chinese platforms offer that?
So perfect transition because, of course, that's the question. Chinese marketplaces in Europe, and I think everyone is asking, themselves, what should I do now? I think this chart here is useful because it does not just show scale like from these marketplaces, but it shows positioning like price, delivery, also user reach compared to Amazon. Everyone is talking about Temu, Shein right now, but AliExpress should not be forgotten in my opinion, because still there, as you can see, and even strong in countries such as Spain, for example, even in France. And even if low-cost marketplaces, I don't know if you remember Joom, for example, or Wish, of course. I mean, they are more or less gone, but AliExpress survived and is stronger than ever. And as well, Joybuy, because Joybuy is kind of new. I say kind of new. They were rather quiet and low profile before, but now they are like really stepping, I would say, like on the gas, and could become a real problem for Amazon in particular. This would be maybe my first question. Why in particular for Amazon, Joybuy?
It's definitely an exciting opportunity. Local to local delivery. Don't know if you saw the stat, but de minimis on France is no longer the case. So there's a €2 minimum spend, which means that those small packages, they went from quite a lot in French airports to zero in just literally overnight. Okay. And I think de minimis end in Europe is going to be, I think, early June at that point, and that's going to be €3 on every parcel. So that's going to hit any market. Joybuy is definitely super exciting. Super exciting because it's clean, offers local to local delivery, competitive pricing, nice products. That said, how are they going to acquire traffic? I don't know.
That's the, yeah.
25 years of reputation on Amazon and being the cheapest. That's not neutral. We see how expensive it is for Shein and Temu, right? And it's a loss-making business, maybe Shein slightly less. And then TikTok. TikTok Shop is definitely an exciting opportunity because not as much because it's cheaper or faster or better, but also offers different points of contact, different opportunities, where, let's face it, Amazon is a bit of a boring buy sometimes. Sorry for people working at Amazon. You know how much I love you guys. But it's a bit boring. It's very you don't really move out of your shopping list. And TikTok Shop offers that kind of impulse buy. And we see very strong halo effects from one platform to the other. TikTok Shop has just introduced, I think it's in the US for trial at the moment, halo impact on other channels. So it's both a sales destination and a marketing destination and offers complementary opportunities for brands. And Shein and Temu, it's harder for me to speak of it. I'm not in the fashion retail business, and Shein does answer mostly fashion.
Yeah, I think TikTok Shop, you mentioned TikTok Shop, it's important to talk about it. I mean, you can see that, I mean, soon it's 1 year that it's available in France, Germany, Italy, a bit longer in Spain, and of course, longer in the UK. And you can see that the average basket size is going up. And this is a good and strong signal for the market. And you have a lot of, I mean, some big European retailers and even brands selling on TikTok Shop today. I mean, you have Darty in France, you have Carrefour in Germany as well. You have brands like Nivea.
I mean, basically, different perspectives, right? I mean, if you are a brand, a seller, something, and then a Temu shows up, right? And you are beginning to die in trouble, right? I mean, then your perspective even before was not ideal, right? If price was your only differentiation, that was like, how sustainable was it, right? So, I mean, if I look at this, I mean, I have the general perspective saying competition is good. Competition is great. I mean, I don't want to be, I mean, if Lawrence is saying Amazon is boring, they would say Switzerland is boring, right? From a low competition environment, marketplace perspective, I would even go a little bit further, right? So yeah, but of course what Lawrence says is true, right? But I mean, the question is, what should I do? Right? I mean, not whining and not complaining. What should I do? Right? There are different perspectives. So that is telling me, can I compete with those guys via the price? No, right? No chance, right? The supply chain is much shorter. It's M2C. There are a lot of middlemen and not existing. That's why they can simply create different price points, right? Makes no sense. Yeah. If you are a seller that is importing from China, then you are simply one guy too much, right? I mean, makes no sense. So complex products, complexity in products, product decisions are key, right? So what am I selling? What am I leaning into, right? Complex products, and that can be different, right? And has a plug, is a complex brand thing, trend thing, whatsoever. So product is a thing. Trust is a thing, yeah. Origin is a thing. I'm from France. I'm from Germany. It's it's like an 100-year-old brand just across the street, and we are doing this and that for a certain reason, and it's green, and it's this and it's that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of differentiation that makes sense going forward and makes still sense. But simply saying I'm a brand is weak. You have to fill that, right, with content. Right? That's definitely what it is. Yeah. Would I sell on Temu? I mean, I have. If you're having items that fit, why not? I mean, competition is great. Do everything, sell on TikTok Shop, Temu, AliExpress, Joybuy, whatsoever. I would always check and try, and if your items fit into that, I would definitely think about like circumventing a little bit my actual strategy in terms of complexity from the product side. That's the only thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I made a short analysis about Temu sellers, and what I find out was that what worked are like low priced, high margin products. Also low return products with very simple logistic for European sellers. And as well, brands using Temu for volume, like as a flash sales marketplace, and not for brand building or whatsoever. Vincent, maybe you have also your take on Chinese marketplaces, maybe also from the Lengo perspective.
Yeah, it will be really important for Lengo to follow integration on this marketplace. I'm sure that spirit of this marketplace will be complicated to move because consumers go to Temu to find discount, gamification, shopping. So it's a different shopping from other platform. Shein is different from Temu. So yeah, it will be really hard to move spirit of this kind of platform for consumers. So it will be complicated for our customers, for our merchants, our sellers to be competitive in this kind of platform. You have maybe more opportunity for French European brands to be present on Chinese platform because, for example, Tmall open in Spain warehouse to send package directly to Chinese local market. So it can be interesting to get this kind of bridge between Europe and China. So yeah, it can be. I think European brands can get more potential to use Tmall, for example, to protect brands to touch a different customers database. But yeah, in Europe, it will be a hard battle to be competitive on this kind of platform. So we will follow GMV traffic because, yeah, I'm sure that traffic and GMV are really huge on this kind of platform. But question is, maybe our seller are not competitive in this kind of platform. So let's see. It's too young to get a final point of view. But yeah, it will be really important to follow part of GMV because yeah, you have some traffic, some GMV, but for our sellers, it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean today, like on Lengo, TikTok Shop is working pretty well. We have, I don't know, for example, Darty in France, it's using TikTok Shop really well with us. And Temu, I would say, I mean, if you don't try it, you don't know it. So
Yeah. Yeah, and TikTok Shop is completely different from Temu. Of course, you can get a success. We have some brands which generate some GMV, touch different public consumers. So yeah, it's another way to sell products and completely different from Shein, from Temu, from Wish, Joom, etc. So yeah, it's interesting to understand the spirit of each platform, to understand if our brands are potential partner for this kind of platform.
let's move forward to the next topic, which is more about marketplace maturity and the question how to stand out on marketplaces in 2026. Here, this chart is powerful because it shows that the maturity gap is not mainly about being present on more marketplaces, but it is also about getting the fundamentals right first, like catalog quality, pricing discipline, etc. And this is actually based on a marketplace maturity index we developed at Lengo. And we identified 5 different pillars: analytics, coverage, catalog, pricing, operations. And you can measure your own maturity. It's based on 25 deep dive questions. And this can be very valuable for merchants who do not know where they stand on marketplaces, actually. It includes also benchmark data from the market, so you can see where you are. And yeah, I think you can find the link in the chat. We will share the link if you want to try this maturity index after the webinar or when you have time this week. I mean, I just want to ask one question here for you, and then we go to retail media because Lawrence has a lot to tell. The central question for me here is how to stand out on marketplaces. How do you perform better? What are your tips, your best practices for this year?
Yeah, the key word is to persevere, to be sure that your product catalog, you need to execute your marketplace strategy, to consider diversifying your channels, and to be sure that your attributes, you create more attributes, to create a complete description and give context around your product. It will be necessary to progress on this side. Really important to be present on LLM and different portal, different channels. So yeah, I think seller need to build and continue to construct a database.
Yeah, what I'm observing from my side is that I think when you want to go a step further in your marketplace strategy, it's really about you need to look closely at the competition and like use your market intelligence you have. So it's not just focus on classic marketplace feed optimizations or on exclusion roles or whatsoever, but it's really about the intelligence you get. So how can I make sure I keep track of my competitors on all marketplaces, to know their prices, their stock, and also my own visibility on these marketplaces. How strong is it? And there's one thing that comes to my mind here because one of the most recent client stories we have done here at Lengo, it's with the Spanish home appliance brand Ufesa. And they use this combination of a marketplace management system from Lengo with market intelligence from Lengo's product Net Rivals. And in this way, they were like really able to combine channel-specific rules and assortment strategy on marketplaces on the one side, and on the other side, combine it with like price monitoring and competitor benchmarking on the marketplaces they were selling on. And in 1 year, they tripled the marketplace sales actually by having this strategy. So yeah, this is my side note here, and I think we can also share the link to the story if someone is interested in knowing how they were doing it to triple their sales.
When it comes to marketplaces, I think the first point that we always go back is the customer journey. And what are the marketplaces that are best fitted for you? Because at one point or another, even with all the opportunities offered by agentic to scale activity, you can really focus on 1, 2, 5, 10 marketplaces, depending on your business model, but you can't cover with the same quality every single one of them. And then look at how profitable and what kind of setup do you need. Where you need to play with the winners, right? And ensure that you have a wide coverage of marketplaces, but then an in-depth coverage. And for sure, you need to have Amazon, you need to have your top niche retailer as part of your bedrock in terms of performance. Yes or no for your website, it depends, category per category. Not all are fitted for direct to consumer. Invest in the new, which is we've talked about TikTok, we talked about Chinese platforms, but all the other opportunities, and start and ensure that you are fitted for the future, and that is going to be agentic in particular. Okay,
Yeah.
and which means structured data. I think at Lengo you possibly said you need structured data for the past 15 years or so, but even more so, you need structured data. Because the future is actually a form of headless commerce, right? Which is you'll be able to sell without a store. That's already the case. And Google UCP is very good at allowing you to do that. What I don't know in the next 2 years is will the winners still be OpenAI or Gemini or Claude. I still know that part of that list you will have Google. You possibly will have TikTok, depending on categories. But you need to ensure that you prepare for the future without taking a least common denominator approach, but ensuring that you can actually expand as fast as possible across multiple platforms, which means that you've got Lengo, but you're also connected to financial capabilities and stock management and all that. So that's structure, that's pure engineering, right? That needs to be done so that you can expand as much as possible.
For the next one, retail media, and I think it's important, this one. What future for retail media with agentic commerce, and actually where should the budget go? This graph actually shows on the advertising revenue from Amazon going higher, higher, and higher. But the real question here is maybe, is AI eating up this retail media growth or not?
First, I think it's extremely impressive that Amazon ads is still growing 22% year on year, right?
Yeah,
that's impressive just by itself. I'd like to be able to do that for the next 5 years, right? Is AI eating retail media? No, AI is offering new retail media opportunity. We're already seeing in Rufus that part. So Rufus, Amazon's answer to AI, that you can advertise, right? And on Rufus, consumers are 3.5 times more engaged than they are on the traditional search bar. So is it eating it now? No. Is it a threat to traditional retail media? Yes, because what AI is doing is it's contracting the purchase journey in possibly one single prompt. We've seen at the beginning of the presentation that it's going to actually be a few more points of contact. In the future, will it impact traditional retail media? Yes, but it will be a transfer in terms of retail media because it will be a new form of retail media. Once AI gets retail sorted, and we talked about some limitations earlier in this presentation, and for those that arrive late, we're talking about stock availability, we're talking about dynamic pricing in particular. Once it will have sorted it, it will be a form of agentic retail, and it will bear retail media answers because it's such a profitable source of revenue, right? And don't forget what made retail media so powerful. And Malte was in the business before I was. It's because it linked data to actually positive financial outcome. And AI will be able to do that. I can put my hand out there that AI will be able to do that. And therefore, there will be new retail media opportunities in a different form of funnel for different type of consumers. So definitely, I'm betting on AI retail media in the future.
We said in the very beginning, AI is, let's say, dropping a little bit the plans regarding transaction, but search and research is a valid and existing layer already. Retail media belongs to the search and research layer, so that makes a lot of sense, and we will see this developing massively in future. And there are a lot of questions, too much for today, right, regarding trust then, if the AI search is then heavily influenced by marketing as well, like we're seeing in the marketplaces. What is that like the outcome then regarding trust? But we see that in future, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice
Bye.
day.